Have you ever had the urge to ditch those original halogen headlights? Do you want more than just a high and low beam, but don't want to mess with the classic look of the old Wrangler? If so, these Suparee headlights and fog lights may be just what you're looking for.
Hi, I'm Chris from Journey Beyond, and today we've been sent some headlights and fog lights from Suparee for our JK.
And these headlights and fog lights, they arrive very quickly, especially for a small town in rural Ohio, because they actually have a warehouse right in Ohio.
And these are the original fog light. These headlights, however, were changed out at one point. So these are the original Jeep 2013 JKU headlights. So going from there. So why did we get these headlights? Why did we install these?
Well, the halogen bulbs really just have a yellow light and they're not worth a toot.
Okay.
And we got a set of these when we took our first trip out west. And they've done well.
So for white rim?
Yeah. And then we went to, or going to these.
Yep, and then we're going to go to these, which are another LED light.
These have the two high and low beams here, but they also have the side lights that fan out more like a flood or a ditch light.
Okay.
Those do not.
These do not. These are just basically high and low beams. They do not have the side lights. Believe it or not, they've got this nice little installation guide. And they're very smart to tell you how to open your hood and where to put the rods, since, well, I had to ask my husband exactly where it went because I haven't used this in the JK much. So the next step we've got to do on this is we've got to remove these 6 fender clips right along here. So we're going to do that.
That was working good.
Typically from here, we would actually remove this entire front grille to make it easier to access these lights and put the new ones in. In our case, however, we have a complication in that we have this winch here, and there's a winch line running through. So if we were going to take this entire grille off, we would actually have to move this entire piece right here out of the way. So instead, we're going to see if we can't just hinge this.
You can do it. There you go.
That's the problem.
You just got to pop that clip. There you go.
Retainer clips on the sides that'll pop out. And then you can basically just hinge it out a little ways. If you were going to remove the entire front grille, you also would have to disconnect these turn signals right here. So just be aware that you'd have to disconnect those turn signals if you remove this entire front grille. All right, the next thing we have to do is we have to remove this outer piece so we can remove the headlights. And for that, you're going to want a Torx 15 screwdriver.
And once you've removed that, you need to disconnect the electrical back to the factory connection.
This is the actual factory connection that you need to be going all the way back to. When you remove this, it actually came out very simply once we had it pulled back. This gets pulled back. Sometimes it's helpful to have that extra leverage with a screwdriver, and then the front plug comes straight out. And then just be careful that you don't drop this piece because it very, very easily removes all the way and it'll fall down into the mechanicals of the vehicle, and sometimes it's hard to find again. So that's where we're going to be attaching that plug. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some of this dielectric grease. This will help to seal this up. We do a lot of things in water, around water, through water, mud, and so this will help with that issue and sealing this much better.
It would have been a lot easier to do this install without the grill in the way, but even with just hinging the grill, there was just enough room.
Gentle, and you lift up that piece, this will come back, and then this should. We're seeing this in between. We're trying to tighten that space up. Before we put everything back together, we decided we wanted to test these before we tighten everything down, and we've got on that, the light's not coming on at all.
When you encounter an issue like this, don't give up. Do some problem solving. In our case, we managed somehow to bend one of those 3-prong electrical connectors, and all we needed to do was straighten it to get it to work
So
again.
if I straighten that and it works, then it's
Then we know.
It could even be
That we bent it by mistake when I was putting down.
I'll let you say we.
Because we also drive this JKU in a lot of mud and water, we took the extra step of taping these connections with electrical tape to help them seal up better.
Okay, the next step we have is basically to go ahead and we're going to put a little bit more dielectric grease on this next connection as well, and then we're going to attach the light. We're going to plug this in. And then when you put this in, you're just wanting to make sure that the tab there and there's a tab there that actually line up with this housing. And And then this piece is going to go back in on top. No.
It's like a little combination lock.
It is like a combination. There we go. That looks like it should fit.
Without the grill in the way, this final piece of the installation, it would have taken mere minutes. But with a hand tool and small quarters, it took just a little bit longer. But soon, Bill and I had both those headlights up and running.
There's one. This side, there's a tab right here. Line it up and clip it in. So now those clips are back in.
And if you took the whole grill out, don't forget to reattach your turn signal
That was
connectors.
really loose. We ought to replace that one. That one's kind of
I
damaged.
don't know that I have anymore. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, at some point we ought to replace that. So these are the halogen bulbs that we're going to be replacing on the Foglights.
Several years ago, Bill put the original Foglights into an aftermarket bumper on this JKU. And those nuts and bolts, they took a lot of persuasion to come out after years of running through the mud and water.
Gibberish.
Holes or this pinches, but I can't see. There it goes. Right in my face. So there's that.
And once the old lights were out, the new ones were supposed to be plug and play.
So here's the new one. Here's the old one. The old one would plug straight into the factory harness. It's the original factory light. The new one does not. The new one has this particular pigtail down here and a connector. The instructions are telling us that there's supposed to be a connector on each side. So there's the one connector on this side, and that this other connector should be going straight to the factory harness. The problem is our connector doesn't have a plug at both ends. It only has a plug on one end, which is the Deutsch connector, and it doesn't have a factory connector on this end. So I'm not sure why the directions tell us that there is a connector on both ends when there isn't, but it looks like we're going to have to actually splice the wiring directly, which I don't necessarily love. It's not very plug and play. It looks like we're going to have to splice the wiring directly because these new lights do not have a connector that will get us to the factory connection. Alright, so what you doing over here?
Well, we're just going to use self-tapping screws to put the new lights back in my aftermarket bumper.
Since the aftermarket bumper is a little more challenging. You don't, oh, you do need that.
Self-tapping screws are definitely a saver.
Yeah, they are. So this is the new one. Compared to the old one, we've decided we really like the look of the new one a lot better.
And now all that was left to do is take these out for a test drive.
And then watch I put the high beam on, it just raises it up.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
I'm really liking what I see. It's a nice even white light, unlike what we just saw in the Gladiator.
Yeah, this is much more even than what we've got in there.
And I don't have all the super lights on either. I don't know if people coming out of the way are going to like it or not.
If you're thinking about buying a set of headlights for your JKU, I hope this video was helpful.
I like them being better than the other ones.
Good.
Thanks so much for joining us and watching.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Good. Are you actually filming? Are you sure you're filming? It's a little muddy in here if you hadn't noticed.
The only time you get it.
Clean because it's dirty.
He's kind of particular like that, which is probably why these things last as long as they do. Filming again?
Damn it.
You have to be aware of this chair because sometimes it moves. Oh, there's a little face. Stay. We have another fuzzy dog over here. And then we have Psycho Dog, who is visiting, who believes that she has to run up and down the stairs 40,000 times because she wants to make sure we know that there is a cat living up there. So are you filming or what?
I am now.
You weren't filming any of that?
No. I was waiting for you to get your groove on.
So should it concern us that Riley got quiet?
Doesn't make me wonder what she's doing.
Oh, she just walked by right there.
Don't laugh. around.
She is still doing laps around the building.
Push down on the hood with one hand.
Would you like me to do that again?
You're the editor.
Let's do this again, shall we?
And then poke yourself and make yourself bleed on camera.
And until we see you again, go out and find your own adventure.